presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
His ability welcomes worship.
Oh my. A towering fly to left into the second deck.
From the flair to the future. He's owned the 60 feet 6 inches between rubber and result. With grit over glitter, muscle over grace, purpose over polish.
Lays to center field. And the Twins walk off the Indians again.
It's also seen frustration over flair and errors over excitement. It's why we watch, we stare, and we talk.
Very loud when it comes off his bat.
Like thunder.
When he grabs the bat and steps in the batter's box, I think a lot of people stop what they're doing and they watch.
There's a lot to say, and hopefully a lot more to see about Miguel Sano.
Based upon his performance at the plate this week, Miguel Sano doesn't really need to warm up as he gets ready to play in the 199th game of his career with the Twins. He's been the key component at the plate in both of the team's wins this week. Beautiful day for baseball in downtown Minneapolis, where this afternoon the Minnesota Twins look to complete a sweep of Kansas City in their first series of the season from Target Field. It's Game 3 as the Twins take on the Royals. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by State Farm. A pair of right-handers ready to take their first test of the season today. Kyle Gibson has revamped his delivery, and the result, a 1.59 ERA in 7 starts this spring. Kansas City will counter with Jason Hamill, a free agent addition from the Chicago Cubs, his second career start at Target Field. We welcome you to Twins baseball on Fox Sports North with Twins legend Jack Morris. I'm Tom Hanneman. Jack, high hopes for Miguel Sano to start this season, and so far, early on, he's given us every indication he's in for a very big year.
Yeah, 2 games played and 2 impact swings that really determine the Twins' fate. This guy's got so much power and potential, and you know, if he can just mentally stay involved in the game the way we all expect him to, and he builds confidence just like any young player needs to, he's going to become a monster in baseball. He's already got more power than 99% of the guys that have ever played, and he showed that with just lifting a fly ball to right center that almost was a grand slam yesterday. So looking forward to Miguel all year long.
Up next, Kyle Gibson takes them on with a new attitude and a new delivery. Dick and Bert discuss that next.
changed my lifting routine. So the whole month of November, normally where I'm doing strength stuff, I did all foundational work. Hip mobility, hip strengthening, lower back mobility, strengthening, and basically left the heavyweights to the side until December and January I got here. And then throwing program did a little different throwing stuff in December once I started throwing, just trying to make sure that my shoulder stays healthy and that I don't have to go through that again this year.
After getting a couple of good starts in the first 2 games of the year, today the Twins will hand the ball to Kyle Gibson, coming off a tremendous spring training. He's reworked his mechanics. Mentally, he's very confident he's going to be able to pitch much better for the Twins this year than last. Dick Bramer and the birthday boy Burt Blyleven with you here as the Twins hope to complete a 3-game sweep over the Royals. And Kyle Gibson, a key guy for the Twins in their rotation, hoping for a much better year from him this year.
Yeah, you know what, baseball, especially on the pitching side, is making adjustments. Well, Kyle was not happy the way that he pitched last year. Won only 6 ball games, high ERA. So what did he do? He tried to go out and find out, you know, what was wrong. Well, he has some back issues. There's a lot of things that went wrong. And against the Kansas City Royals back in 2013, made his first major league start against the Royals here, and he ended up winning. Well, the last 4 starts, including some starts last year, weren't Kyle Gibson-like against the Royals. Hopefully he can turn around that today. But the big thing is attack the strike zone. What did he do different? On your left is the old Kyle Gibson. Long arm. When I'm talking about long arm, that all hitter can see that ball very easily. On the right, a quicker arm, and that's what he's come up with in spring training. The ball has a little more explosiveness toward home plate.
To the extent you can judge these things, a very encouraging spring training for Kyle Gibson, but his first start that really counts as the Twins hope to complete a sweep over the Royals. The Minnesota Twins ain't like nothing better than to do what they can to play this year and forget everything that happened to them last year. And so far, so good. The Twins in that 9-game opening losing streak last year only scored 14 runs. They've already scored 16. Thank the Kansas City pitching staff for a lot of that. 9 of those runs have scored after a walk. And Nenos, his 8th season as Royals manager, a little concerned about the status of his bullpen this year. And so far, Royals haven't hit much either, with just 7 hits in the 2 games. The Menards batting order for the Royals in Game 3. Alex Gordon leading off. Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer, Salvador Perez, Brandon Moss, Paulo Orlando, Alcides Escobar, and Raul Mondesi.
And that'll be Alex Gordon facing Kyle Gibson. Of course, making his first start of the year, looking to totally redeem himself from last year.
Swing and a miss. Gordon behind in the count.
Ugly numbers right there. I think the biggest thing, 25 starts, only 8 quality starts. That's one thing that I think the staff is looking to do this year better than they did last year. Get deep into the ball game and give your club a chance to win a ball game. And Kyle Gibson, that's one of his goals.
1-1 to Gordon. And now down and in. He had some physical problems, and these reworked mechanics that he's done through the winter, through spring training, and now into the regular season, designed in part to keep his shoulder stronger and healthier.
And his back. He's had some back issues, so he's trying to get over that pitching rubber and utilize that frame at 6'6" and create that downward plane. And that's the big thing that, talking to Neil Allen about Kyle Gibson, shorten that up a little bit, stay tall, work on top, and create that downward angle.
Fouled away by Gordon. And
Sounds simple, Dick, but sometimes, you know, you have to go through a little adjustment right there. The high leg kick, stay over the pitching rubber, and then drive. You can see he's trying to stay on top of the ball. The good whip through once he releases the ball.
2-2 the count to Gordon. And fouled away. Gibson counted on so heavily from the time he was drafted to emerge as a top of the rotation starter, and that will be the challenge for Gibson. Half swing and strike 3. Gordon's out on strikes. Elevate his game to the point where he can be counted on to be a number 1 or a number 2 starter. Northland Ford defense for the Twins, and boys, it's been fun to watch. Both the outfield defense, the infield defense has at least been steady and at times spectacular. Danny Santana getting left field today. Buxton and Kepler join him in the outfield. Sano, Polanco, Dozier, Bauer, the infielders. Third straight start for Jason Castro behind the plate. Pitch is up and in to Mike Moustakas.
I think one more thing on Gibson, you know, he had a tough time here at home, and you always want to have success at home. Last year, 13 starts, 1-8 here at home with an ERA at 5.21. So that's another area he wants to improve, pitching better here at Target Field.
Missing to Moustakas, 2-0.
And win here at home. Twins as a ball club last year, 30-51 here at Target Field.
Moustakas with a torn ligament in his knee that abbreviated his season, and now a strike 2-1. Foul back. Mentioned the Royals have really struggled with just 7 hits on the year, and Moustakas the only player with more than 1 hit. He had a home run here on Monday, got a single in the ball game yesterday.
Yeah, he hit that single right about where Sano, the third baseman, is standing behind second base.
Gibson with an off-speed pitch, and Moustakas spins it to the screen.
Kyle's leaving some pitches up right now. When Kyle's on, he'll get ground ball outs. He's a sinker baller, good slider, good changeup. Making his 12th career start against Kansas City.
And another foul over the screen. Royals from here go to Houston. The Twins from here go to Chicago for the weekend series.
Saw Ned Yost right there in his 8th season as manager of the Royals. Also managed in Milwaukee.
Lifted to right center field.
Good pitch right there. Had him way out front.
Kepler puts it away. 2 down. And before Lorenzo Cain's at bat, today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it over the last 2 or 3 years with Kyle Gibson. Is he going to be good or is he going to be bad? When he's good, outstanding. When he's not so good, well, yeah, the numbers show it. So hopefully he's good here this afternoon. Biggest difference. That's incredible. That is huge difference.
Popped up. Mauer across the line will track it, but it's out of play. We'll give Kyle credit. He very disturbed about his year last year, and the numbers support disappointment, and he changed things. And I don't think there's anything that is more frustrating for fans than to have, whether it's a pitcher or a position player, a disappointing year, and the player comes back and just does the same stuff and expects the results to be different.
I know, talking to Kyle Dick in spring training, the biggest issue was that shoulder. Of course, he went on a disabled list, but also the back issues, and that's one reason he's had a history of back issues, and one reason he's really taken that new system he's put together to stay taller, to take some of that pressure off his back, and that will in turn take pressure off the shoulder. So utilize again the tall frame that God gave him.
1-2. Cain's really struggled against Gibson in his career. Just 3 hits in 23 at bats. Jacked his swing. 2-2.
Kyle, 29 years old now. First came up in 2013 with the Twins.
Hosmer on deck.
Oh boy.
Gibson took a step or two onto the grass thinking he'd hit the corner.
Yeah, you want to see what that home plate umpire, that being Rob Drake, what he'll give you. And straight over the top. Watch this pitch right there. It came back a bit. Oh, very, very close. Keep throwing that pitch. You'll eventually get it. That sure looked like a strike.
Well, that's ball 4. This happened on opening day. I don't think Cain was aware of what the count was, but he'll end up taking a 2-out walk. Rob Drake is the home plate umpire. Pat Hoberg at first, Jerry Davis at second, Tony Randazzo at third. And Eric Hosmer, the hitter. Hosmer 1 hit, a single in 7 at bats. This would appear to be a matchup that would favor Gibson because Hosmer, a notorious ground ball hitter. We talk about ground ball pitchers. Hosmer among the league leaders in hitting ground balls. And a pitch up, a call to strike.
That 3-2 pitch looked like a pretty good pitch down, so it kind of tells you the home plate umpire going a little bit up in the strike zone rather than down. It's just the first inning. He hasn't blinked yet.
And Cain gets back. Gibson, a very good fielding pitcher. He's also got a pretty quick move to first. Royals haven't done much running, just 1 stolen base so far. I don't know that they are quite the running team with Cain getting back. Not quite the running team that they used to be. They're, I think, transitioning into more of a power-laden lineup. Tends to happen as players get older.
Yeah, there has not been that many stolen bases against Kyle because he does utilize that slide step. He does have 8 pickoffs in his career. This is his 99th career start.
Already the 22nd pitch coming from Gibson. There's a ground ball.
Perfect.
And to the bag, Polanco to end the inning. A 2-out walk does no damage. No score after a half. through maybe a handful more pitches than he would have liked, but Paul Molitor really encouraged with what he's seen from his team so far. They have not just won ball games, but they've looked good in winning the first 2 ball games. Here's the Menards batting order. Brian Dozier, then Max Kepler, Byron Buxton, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Jason Castro, Jorge Polanco, Eddie Rosario, and Danny Santana.
And making his first start as a Kansas City Royal will be right-handed pitcher Jason Hamill, a 15-game winner last year for the Cubs, signed by the Royals over the winter to a 2-year plus option year contract. Dozier's numbers as a World Series champion Cub starter.
Strike on the outside corner. Hamill will never have to buy lunch in Chicago again because he was a part of the Cub team that won the World Series.
Well, he's faced the Twins before in the past. Last time was August 10th, 2014, when he was a member of the Oakland A's. This is his 7th career start against the Twins.
Dozier lifts it foul over the Twins dugout. 1-2. Yeah, he's been around with a handful of different teams. Parts of 3 years with Tampa Bay, parts of 3 years with Colorado, parts of 2 years with the Orioles, with the Cubs, briefly pitched for the Oakland A's, then back with the Cubs again, and now back in the American League with the Royals.
He's working off that middle part of that pitching rubber.
Fouled straight back. I don't know that Hamill wants to leave that pitch where he left it to this hitter.
Hamill's got just a little over 1,500 innings in the big leagues. He's averaging just under 3 walks per 9 innings and about 7 strikeouts per 9. This is his 249th career start.
Off the plate, 2-2.
So yes, he has been around.
The Royals have gotten good mileage out of guys like Hamill, veteran pitchers that they've brought in through one means or another, either via trade, James Shields, free agents like Volquez, Vargas, and now a full count to Dozier. Hamill usually pretty stingy in issuing walks, but that's been the story of the first 2 games. The patience of the Twins hitters in drawing so many of them. Grounded to Escobar. Routine play, and Dozier retired one down. That'll bring up Max Kepler. Northland 4 defense for the Royals. Alex Gordon in left, Lorenzo Cain in center, Paulo Orlando in right. Moustakas back at third. Cuthbert was there in yesterday's game. Escobar, Mondesi up the middle. Hosmer at first and Perez behind.
Yeah, it's a good defense. Like the Twins, they have not committed an error yet this year, and a lot of gold gloves behind Hamill here this afternoon.
A couple of hits so far for Kepler, one of them a bunt single on Monday, and he takes a strike on the outside corner.
Hamill get that fastball 91 to 95 miles an hour. Very good curveball when he's consistent with it, a slider and a changeup.
High and tight. 1-1.
Get Herbeck and Pegger in there, bringing us some little cupcakes. Happy birthday! Oh, we're gonna start a fire with this thing. Well, look at this baby. There we go.
Yeah. It's interesting. You got a cake delivered down in the press dining room with just 1 candle in it, and all this presentation with just 1 candle. Is there a wax shortage in the world, or what?
Well, thank you very much, Peg. You know we love you. And Herbie, we love you too, man. Thank you. I got a kiss. I'm not getting a kiss from you.
And just for our viewers' sake, he did get a kiss from Peg.
No.
It was Ken.
No,
oh, okay.
Ken had one.
2-2 to Kepler. Twins are coming back with pretty much the same lineup here today, at least in the front 2/3 of it, as they had yesterday against a right-handed pitcher, Ian Kennedy. Kepler drives it to center. Lorenzo Cain going back, still going back, played it beautifully and made the catch. Turned one way, spun around the other, and just glided after it to haul in a 400-foot drive. 2 down. Today's broadcast of Twins baseball is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land and on ships at sea. We welcome you. We got everybody got some Twitter message yesterday. Someone was watching us from the other side of the globe on the AFN network, and we're happy to be on there again today.
Yeah, God bless you all. Come home safe.
Here's Byron Buxton with 2 gone. Popped up, straight up in the air. And Mondesi will wait a long time and catch it for the 3rd out. A 1-2-3 first inning for Jason Hammel.
We talked a little bit about last year, the delivery. What he's trying to do is have a little quicker arm. Now, the one on your left, you can see the long arm. When I'm talking about long arm, it allows that hitter to see the ball quicker. What I saw in spring training, you can almost see his arm shorten up behind him a little bit more difficult, I believe, for that hitter to pick up that ball right away. So working out front, trying to stay on top. You saw the number 44. That's what you want to see with a pitcher, bending his back toward home plate.
Leadoff man on the second, Salvador Perez. And Gibson starts him with a strike. Perez, like Kane, has really struggled against Gibson. Just 3 hits and 25 at bats. The backup catcher for the Kansas City Royals, Drew Butera, is 6 for 8 with a home run against Gibson. Here's the ball hit to left, going back, and Santana with a late adjustment makes a catch. Has much more experience in center field, but through spring training, Santana used in all 3 outfield spots, also at third, short, and second. And looking up into the sun, he had to make a late adjustment.
Yeah, not easy right there. What a great play right there. Perez gave it a ride. Santana went back. And then right at the last second, he is so athletic. That's why the Twins like him as a utility type player. He brings a lot with him to the ballpark, his speed. And right there, that speed and agility, was able to catch that ball.
Strike 1 to Brandon Moss. Moss started on Monday, went hitless, left on the bench in the game yesterday. Tap to the right side. Dozier with an easy play, 2 down.
2 quick outs for Gibson. Good thing.
And a line drive out and the second ground ball out. That'll bring up Paulo Orlando.
Well, we have seen outstanding defense right there. Brian Dozier, a little shovel pass getting Mondesi. Then we saw a couple great running catches, dives by Buxton. Couple double plays turned behind Santana. And a little slippage of the baseball, but Brian stayed with it, able to get it. And then Escobar's throw from short left field. And then we just saw Santana's nice over-the-shoulder catch.
And I don't know that we needed reminders, but nevertheless, we've gotten them in the last 2 games. How important plays like that are particularly in the game Monday, so many of those good fielding plays were when the game was scoreless or tied. You know, one out here or there that can be taken away, a hit from the other team.
You know, Dick,
rather than giving an extra out.
Well, you know, we got Kent Herbeck here, and I think, you know, as an everyday player like him, it's the focus, you have to be focused on every pitch. And, you know, when you're losing the way that the Twins did last year, sometimes I think you lost that. But I think now, you know, it's a new season. They're all focused into every pitch. That ball might be hit to me, and they're getting ready. And that just comes, I think, with maturity, too. You know, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of major league experience. I guarantee you, Justin Haley, when he pitched his 3 shutout, got the 1, 2, 3 innings, there were 2 great plays behind him, and he said, you know what, they don't do that in the minor leagues. My God, I love it up here.
1 and 2 to Orlando.
I mean, Escobar made that great play, and then Dozier ended the game on a great play.
Second strikeout for Gibson in a much quicker second inning. Got a little help from Danny Santana, the super utility player. He'll play 6 positions for the Twins this year. Ball on Fox Sports North is presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. As you can see, a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky, temps in the low 50s. Just gorgeous early spring weather for baseball. Here's Joe Mauer to lead off the Twins second. And down the middle, a strike. Mauer, Sano, and Castro, the Twins second inning. Driven to center. Kane back. A couple of well hit balls here. One by Kepler and now one by Mauer, but one away in the second. Let's find Marty Geldman.
We're checking out our car. Scoop from the clubhouse where Paul Molitor said he's trying to work in his relievers early this season, but that it's a little more challenging trying to get a bullpen guy in than it is a position player. Still, he doesn't want much of the season to go by without those guys making at least one appearance. Eddie Rosario tweaked something in his hand after making a throw from left field yesterday. He's a little sore, otherwise fine. In fact, the DH today. And Danny Santana's in left. Molitor said to get some game action, not just as a DH. He didn't want 45 minutes between bats for Santana, and his first appearance of the season. So we wanted to let him run around a little bit, and as we saw last inning, Santana can run and catch and lead very well in left field. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Marty. Again, I think you see what Santana brings with him, Dick. You know, all the versatility he has, but to give a Rosario or a Buxton or a Kepler a day off, you're not really losing any defense.
1-1 to Miguel Sano. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Regarding Marty's point about the relief pitchers, all the relievers except for Craig Breslow and Michael Tonkin have been in the game, and we would expect one or both of them to get in here today at some point. 1-2 to the Twins' third baseman. 2-2. Of all the good things that have happened to the Twins in 2 games, the most encouraging thing, for me at least, is Sano and his patience at the plate. We have not, I don't think, seen one check swing in any of his at-bats. Now, he has struck out once, but he's taken close pitches and hit his big triple on a pitch that was down and in, and he drove it hard to the opposite field. Dribbled foul. Immensely strong. He is literally just a couple feet away from having hit 3 home runs already. He got one on Monday, and he nearly hit 2 yesterday. And a ground ball base hit right off the end of the bat, it sounded like. Sano will gladly sacrifice a bat for a hit.
Yeah, I like what Jack Morris said in the pregame about Sano, that, you know, he's in the top 99% as far as people that played the game of baseball that have that type of strength that he can generate. You know, one of those guys, Harmon Killebrew.
Right.
Harmon Killebrew.
Well, we just kind of got an example of it right there. You think, you know, immense power and strength, and you tend to think tape measure home runs, but you got to be strong to hit it right off the end of the bat and have the ball find the outfield grass. Here's Castro. Chases, strike 1. Castro with a curious day at the plate yesterday. 4 walks.
Yes, first time he's ever done that at this level. I don't know if he did it in the minor leagues or not, but the goal is to get on base, and he did it 4 times via the walk.
5 walks already on the year, 2 hits, an on-base percentage of .875. I love early season stats.
Hey, you like it if you have some hits.
Yeah, I think Byron Buxton's probably not real happy.
When you're 0 for 7 or 0 for 8, you're not happy.
1-1, the Twins catcher. Sano not a threat, I don't think, to go anyplace. Very high. 2-1. Expect to see Chris Jimenez, the Twins' backup catcher, at least in one game this weekend. The Twins will face 2 left-handed starters. Jose Quintana on Sunday, Derek Holland tomorrow night. Jimenez, a right-handed batter, figures to see get one start in there at least. Chip down the left field line, long run for Gordon, and just foul. Gordon nearly made another sensational play in foul territory. I don't know if it's going to, I know it's not going to be that high all year long, or I don't know whether Jason Castro will end up leading the league in on-base percentage, but a good start for the newest Twins catcher.
Yeah, right now he's number 1.
2-2 to Castro. Up and away. Another 3-ball count for Castro. Full count, 1 down. I wouldn't expect Sano to take off here, but Jeff Smith, the first base coach, whispered something in his ear flap. Sano goes, and the pitch fouled away.
Well, what you have is a guy that's a strike thrower. You mentioned Hamill. You know, he doesn't walk a lot of guys in his career, so Twins took a chance right there. Maybe try to stay out of the double play with Sano going if the ball is hit on the ground.
Castro very strikeout prone in his career. He struck out at least 115 times in each of the last 5 years. to strike out every 3 at bats. Sano goes again, and it's ball 4. Castro takes another walk. Marty Gellner is somewhere on this beautiful day in this beautiful ballpark.
Yes, and as Jorge Polanco comes to the plate, he's part of our big story with the Twins today. The contributions in the first 2 games from their shortstops. Monday it was Polanco with 2 hits, runs scored, and an RBI. And then on Wednesday it was Eduardo Escobar with a 3-run home run, 4 RBI total, and then both made spectacular defensive plays in the field. Paul Molitor called that one by Escobar sterling. That was in the top of the 9th inning yesterday. Great contributions from the 2 guys that have played short so far this season, Dick and Bert.
Including Polanco on Monday. Thank you, Marty. First and second, 1 down, and Polanco at the plate taking outside the ball. Paul was talking this morning about Polanco. Now he's about as inexperienced as you can get. He hasn't spent a full year in the big leagues yet, but he, as the manager pointed out, tends to give you a really good at bat. Kind of grinds away some at bats. He doesn't get himself out very often.
Very good minor league numbers, and sometimes those generate into good at bats up here.
Pop foul over the Royal dugout. There's a guy who got called up from Class A ball a few years ago and started hitting right away. Some extra base hits. Just 23 years old and a .284 big league hitter and just 261 at bats coming into the season. And of course the assumption is that he will hit in the big leagues, but where will he play and how well will he play in the field? And to that end, Polanco did a really nice job in spring training stabilizing things. He had an erratic first couple weeks in spring training and caused the manager, I know, some concern. But he made the plays late in spring training, has so far here in the regular season, and I think the feeling is that he's feeling more and more comfortable there with every passing week.
I was going to mention you watch his body language and stuff. He looks like he knows he belongs here. He's got a short, compact swing. He seems to allow that ball to get deep into the strike zone.
Sharply hit into center field, a base hit. Sano around third, he'll score. Castro to third base, and Polanco with a sharp single to center to give the Twins a 1-0 lead.
Well, there's that short, compact swing. Now Hamill made a mistake. The ball looked like it left about belt high, but credit Polanco for getting good wood on it. Watch the location of the pitch right there, but Polanco short, compact, right back up the middle, picks up an RBI, his second of the season, and the Twins take a 1-0
lead. And here is Rosario, designated hitter today. Scored 3 early runs in the ball game yesterday and ended up coasting to victory. Swing and a miss by Rosario. Foul ball, 1 strike. And Rosario's hand area, wrist area is fine. I asked the manager this morning the move of Rosario to the DH spot and Santana to left field has more to do with, as Marty explained earlier, the manager wants Santana out there running around on the field a little bit in between at bats. Rosario looked like he might have tweaked his throwing hand after his throw yesterday, but he's fine. Grounder right side. Now he'll try to stay out of a double play. And did they even get one?
Yeah, Escobar kind of able to keep that ball in his glove, but a tailor-made double play. And it's not an error, but really the first miscue by the defense for the Royals. The shovel pass, you can see not being able to get that ball in his hand. He ends up using the glove to flip it over to Escobar. Escobar able to keep it in his glove right there for the force out, but another run scores. Twins have a 2-0 lead. Rosario picking up an RBI, his second of the season.
Twins contemplated a challenge there. They wanted to make sure that the ball wasn't pinned on the ground and looked quickly at replay and saw the ball did disappear into Escobar's glove and now picked off first. He got back. Rosario slipped Hosmer's tag. He was picked off by 2 feet.
I think sometimes as a first baseman, you get that throw from the pitcher, and your first automatic thing is to go toward the bag. Watch Hosmer right there, just try to apply.
Drop the ball.
The ball fell out. That's the reason. Rosario able to get that right hand on the bag. I was going to say, it was a heck of a slide by Rosario.
Fouled over the Kansas City dugout.
There's a Randy Bush slide.
Ken Herbeck never had a pickoff throw bounce out of his glove like that. My goodness. Rosario inching off of first. And this time a more conventional play back at the bag. He's got 3 runs in the second inning in yesterday's game. 2 so far here today. Off the plate, 1-1.
I always say the first 3 innings so important for either pitcher. You know, right here, the Twins have been able to score the first couple games, a couple runs in the first 3 innings. And the Twins staff so far, 3 shutout innings by Santana and Santiago in the first 2 games, and Gibson has 2 shutout innings.
Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. Rosario bluffed going toward second base.
Big thing for Santana, I think, offensively, is just make contact. He's struck out a lot in a Twins uniform. Almost like a Buxton, that type of ability. Just make contact, make things happen. Utilize your speed.
Chip to left, a base hit. And a nice 2-strike swing. He just wanted to make contact, put it in play, and flipped a base hit into left field.
This ball looked like it was down and in. Take a look. Not just down, but Santana makes contact. A little flare in the left field. Twins pick up their 3rd hit. The inning is still going.
Paul Molitor talked about Dozier's at bat yesterday in the second inning when he came up and hit what looked to be a double play grounder, but it came on a 2-strike pitch, and Kennedy got ahead of Dozier in part with a really wicked slider, and he threw pretty much the same pitch with 2 strikes. And Bryan toned down his approach, just tried to put the ball in play with 1 out, and with his hustle ended up reaching in a fielder's choice and getting a run batted in. Kind of the same thing we saw from Santana in that at bat. Just put the ball in play with 2 strikes, or try to. Sometimes good things will happen.
Sometimes easier said than done. You know, you saw Dave Island go out there. You look at the innings that the Royals have given the runs up to the Twins. There's always a walk in there. Yep. You know, the walk to Castro. Base hits are part of the game, but the free base runners have really hurt the Royals in the first couple ball games, and so far this inning.
And Hamill shaves the outside corner twice, 0-2. See if Dozier gets a little more protective now with 2 strikes in this at bat. Off the plate, 1-2.
Hamill, that was pitch number 39 for him.
A quick first inning.
Needed only 14 in the first.
Runs in, still a little meat on the bone here with 2 outs. Speedy runners out there. Blocked nicely by Perez, 2-2.
Got ahead, now 2 breaking balls that he missed down and away. His career numbers very, very good in April. Again, Hamill making his Kansas City Royal debut. His 249th career start.
And a breaking ball on the outside corner. A swing and a miss. The Twins get 2 and leave 2. On Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. So far this year, the Twins have only trailed in for part of a half inning. And an early lead here now for Kyle Gibson. Runs for the Twins in the bottom of the second. Alcides Escobar will lead off for Kansas City. And Gibson clips the outside corner. Mondesi will follow, and then Alex Gordon. The pregame show, we showed you Gibson's had 2 different careers against the Royals. Really good in his early starts, and then the last couple of years the Royals have had their way with him. But overall, 5-4 with a 3.58 earned run average against the Royals. 2 strikes to Escobar. Taken 1-2.
What you'll see in Escobar is you see a guy that plays every day for the Kansas City Royals. 162 games last year, and since he became a Kansas City Royal in 2011, his last 6 seasons coming into this year, he's missed only 29 games.
A couple years before that, last year, he played all 162. Yep. And you got Perez. We were talking about him. You know, best job in baseball is Perez's backup as catcher. Drew Butera's got that job now because Perez is an Iron Man behind the plate. Chopper to the left side. Polanco has it, and over to Bauer on target, 1 away.
A couple sliders away, and then a fastball in, creates that jam shot. But so far, so good for the pitchers. 18 innings coming into this ball game. Only 2 earned runs allowed.
Gibson's pitched hitless ball so far here today,
and only 4 walks too.
Tried to suggest an inning or so ago, a big part of it is the great defense that was being played behind Santana and then throughout the game yesterday. But Buxton with 2 really big catches with the opening game just getting started and Twins needing to build some positivity. Buxton gave the team and its fans some of that very early on Monday.
You're looking for someone to give you a lift, and Buxton definitely did that here on opening day.
1 strike to Mondesi. He tried to bunt and fouled it away. Big question as to whether Mondesi is going to be able to hit. He's had a couple of plays, including a costly play here this afternoon that he didn't make. Could have been a double play grounder that he fumbled. Only got 1 out, cost the Royals a run. The Royals are going to let her ride with him for the time being. Swing and a miss. He's going quickly on strikes.
Nasty slider right there, and Gibson picks up his 3rd strikeout.
Coming up Friday, April 15th, the Twins taking on the White Sox here, and the first 10,000 fans get a Twins Fur Trapper hat presented by Pepsi. Go to twinsbaseball.com/tickets or the Ballpark app on your mobile device and get tickets and your Twins Fur Trapper hat. Now, don't ask me how I know this, but I know this. The Twins have a special Fur Trapper hat for TC. He'll be wearing it that night. And those come in handy in the off season. Not for you because you spend your off season in Florida. But up here, those bomber hats or fur trapper hats come in handy.
Yeah, they do. I have worn it on the caravan, and so I know.
And they're stylish. I mean, it's a fashion statement. 1-1 to Gordon. Speaking of TC, everybody's bringing you sugar, even TC.
Thank you. Oh no. Oh, he brought me. It's a sugar, yes. It's a happy birthday beer.
Different type of wasted calories. From TC himself.
You're the best, TC.
2-1 to Gordon.
He's got a step ladder and everything to come up here.
I see the step ladder stopping in front of me. Do you suppose he has something for me?
Well, you can. We'll share.
3-1 to Gordon. 1 walk issued by Gibson. That was to Kane in the first inning. 3-2.
I was going to say maybe we'll do a left-handed toast after the
We
game.
hope to.
Yes.
We hope to. We do that after every Twins win on Twitter. Full count. Gibson with 3 strikeouts, 3 ground ball outs. And a called 3rd strike. Gibson, a belt high pitch to Gordon, and make that now 4 strikeouts and another 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Gibson.
Give you and he won't give you. Remember that 3-2 pitch to Kane in the first inning? Well, look at this pitch right here. Just above the belt, maybe letter high. Sometimes that ball is not called a strike, but Rob Drake said it was a strike. Strike 3.
Yeah, I talked with Gibson in spring training about a number of different things, but one of them, in one of the conversations, he was talking about how it's important for him occasionally to pitch up there. And he thought one of the problems last year, hitters were focused so much on pitches down because he throws the sinker, and that's where his bread and butter is. But every once in a while, time to time, you've got to change the eye angle and deliver a belt-high fastball. And whether that was by design or not, that's exactly what froze Gordon and got the strikeout. There's Max Kepler leading off the Twins' third inning. Strike taken, 2-2. Kepler with a fly ball to center. Hit the ball pretty hard, about 400 feet from home plate, but Kane hauled it in. And now a full count. You're right about that second inning. Twins got a few hits here or there, but it was the walk to Castro that really opened up the inning for the Twins, and now Hamel in danger of walking Kepler here to lead off the third. Driven to center and down for a hit. Kepler with a knock to start the third inning.
That's a nice at bat right there. Nice swing by Max Kepler.
Center fielder number 25.
Our Sanford Health injury report. Justin Upton had a left knee injury, making a play on opening day. Looks like he's going to be okay. And of course, the Twins on this next road trip will go to Detroit. J.D. Martinez unable to play with a foot issue. The Tigers are trying to get their game in Chicago this afternoon after being rained out yesterday.
Yeah, they're going to be making up that game yesterday, I believe, in the end of May.
Yep.
The Tigers come back to Chicago for a doubleheader on a Friday night.
And it does impact the Twins because now, because of the postponement yesterday, the Twins will face Justin Verlander on Tuesday in Detroit. Otherwise, Verlander would have pitched Sunday. Nice stop by Perez, and Kepler didn't stray too far from first base. Buxton 1 for 11. The number for an infield hit yesterday. Paul Molitor says he just thinks Buxton needs to relax a little bit more and slow things down at the plate. Foul back. He's been doing a lot of that. When he has made contact, he's hit the ball up in the air. The infield hit he got yesterday, the only time he's hit the ball on the ground.
And you're talking maybe about a ½ an inch difference between hitting the ball like that underneath or hitting it squarely and driving it somewhere.
1-1 to Buxton. Foul back, get in the air again. I thought it interesting, Paul Molitor, to describe Buxton as he will be an ambush type hitter. And then when pressed for an explanation, he just said he's very aggressive. He wants to hit every pitch and hit it hard someplace. And he said, Molitor did, that he'd rather have that in a young player than someone who was patient and built up his aggressiveness, suggesting that it's easier for a player to back off from their aggressiveness than it is to build something that isn't there yet. Inside, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, there aren't too many Joe Mauer hitters around.
That's the example that Paul used.
And you look at Wade Boggs. They're great hitters that weren't afraid to hit with 2 strikes. So if you're a Buxton and you're coming up and you have to stay aggressive, that's his makeup. So stay there. And hopefully in those first couple 2-3 pitches you can make good contact.
On the ground, they'll get 1. But not 2. So Buxton's speed is aboard with 1 out as he hits the ball on the ground, but right at the shortstop. Twins fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. Mauer at the plate, Buxton at first, and we'll see how aggressive Buxton is on the bases.
Well, over his career, teams have run against Hamill. 136 stolen bases against him. Only 34 have been caught. He does have 13 pickoffs.
But he's never had Salvador Perez behind the plate.
Well, he does have that high leg kick unless he shows a slide step.
Down and away, ball 1.
Gene Glenn over at third base, giving some signs over to Jeff Smith, and Buxton over at first.
Almost got to use a telescope to find Gene Glenn. He, throughout this series, has been standing 30 feet outside of the batter's box. Coaches have been told now that they cannot cheat inside the coaching boxes for their positioning. They have to be in the box, farther into foul territory, or beyond the box. You know, if you're a third base coach in a situation like this, you obviously have to have line of sight with the runner. But what we saw so many times, and it was very dangerous, and I'm glad baseball's come up with this edict, coaches can't cheat closer to home plate anymore.
Well, there's an opening day logo on the field, and that's where a lot of times you'll see a third base coach stand with a runner at second base.
Not anymore, though.
No.
Buxton goes, and Mauer flips it foul over the.
He got a great jump right there, but Joe fouled the pitch off.
Count 2-1.
You know, Jeff Smith, congratulations to him. I think we have already said that, being a new member of the coaching staff, but coaching first base. They have stopwatches, and we saw from Butch Davis last year. They'll say how quick the pitcher is toward home plate, to allow Buxton to kind of know, hey, if it's 1.5, he's got a chance to steal. If the pitcher is 1.2 toward home plate, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult to steal.
Buxton goes. Mauer grounds it right to Hosmer. He'll have no play.
Maybe stayed out of a double play right there with Buxton taken off.
And Buxton momentarily, just for a brief moment, headed back toward first base or to the dugout. I think he may have thought that Hosmer caught that ball in the air. But then Jeff Smith got his attention and said, no, you're good. Stay at second. Buxton's at second with 2 down. Checking out where the outfielders are playing him, with Sano at the plate. And basically with Byron Speed, unless the outfielders are playing on the infield, he's going to score on a hit to the outfield. High fly to right. And Orlando will wait a long time to make the catch. The Twins get a leadoff single from Max Kepler and leave one aboard. They lead 2-0. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm.
The best thing I did this offseason was get married to my wonderful wife, Sarah.
Bought a house. That was a pretty adult move of me.
I got inducted to the Florida State League Hall of Fame.
Spend time with my family.
Probably spend time with my family.
Become a dad for the 3rd time.
Welcome our 2nd child with my wife.
Can't beat being a dad, no matter how many times it is.
Absolutely right. Yeah, the winter months go by so fast, and congratulations to the Gibsons and also Jimenez family on their new additions over the winter.
I don't know how many fans would agree with me on this, though, not to argue with the point. This was a very long off season for me because I think of what happened last year during the baseball season. You know, you'd like to forget about what happened, and I mean, the team we followed lost 103 ball games, and I would hope that helped make the off season long for the players too.
Well, I spent 5 years in Cleveland, so I had some long winters. But
you know, I mean,
it happened. You know what? That's the game of baseball. Sad to say, and you know, as fans, yeah, you want them to come back and have better luck, and so far so good. But the quicker you forget about last year, the better off this season's going to be.
But see, that's my point. I guess we played a couple games. They've been Twins wins. They've looked like a competent, good ball club, and that helps you forget what happened last year when you start playing games again. But in the off season, you're not playing games. You don't.
You know, life is negative. People want to think negative things. You know what? Even though they lost 103 ball games, a lot of these youngsters that we're seeing out here got major league time, experience, at-bats, and the future, like it was in 1982 when they lost 102 games. The good things happen. You've got to believe that.
Status with his 3rd hit of the season, first Kansas City hit here this afternoon, and that'll bring up Kane.
Well, it looked like a breaking ball maybe stayed up. No, it's fastball in, and Moustakas opened up quickly. They missed his bat last year in their lineup. He played in only 27 games.
Here's Kane.
Not only his bat, his determination and his desire. You can see he's one of those royal players that has a lot of drive. Yeah, the Alex Gordon type player.
As we have discussed in the first 2 games here, the Royals will, and Moustakas himself, and Kane and Hosmer, they'll have some tough decisions to make after this season. Grounder to 3rd, foul. If the decisions aren't made for them beforehand, players who are free agents, a part of this Kansas City nucleus that has been so good for baseball and so much fun to watch, but Twins fans know it too. At some point you have to let some of the balloons out of your grasp and let them go away.
You know what, even though the sun is shining, it's still cold down on that field, and I was watching Kane after he got jammed right there.
Gibson knocks it down, part of it anyway, and they'll get Moustakas, the lead runner. Gibson almost speared that hot ground ball and would have turned or started to turn, he hoped, a double play, but they do get the lead runner. Time now for the showstopper from around baseball. Last night, the Indians' Francisco Lindor's 2nd home run of the game after a costly error hit a grand slam in the 9th inning, the first slam of his career, and the Indians handed the Rangers their 3rd straight loss. Sandy Leon hit a walk-off 3-run home run in extra innings over the Pirates, and George Springer hit a 3-run walk-off home run to beat the Mariners in extra innings.
Yep, some exciting baseball already.
Hosmer takes up and in. We've had fun baseball to watch, but we haven't had, late inning drama or anything like that. I'm looking it up today, and the Twins ended up winning comfortably both on Monday and yesterday. You look at what happened last year. Not only did the Twins not win enough games, they didn't win many games like Mondays and Wednesdays either, where they had a comfortable lead in the late innings.
What helped was the 7th inning in both ball games, scoring 6 runs each day.
1-0 to Hosmer, hit a ground ball to Polanco to end the 1st inning. Mauer Polanco. Gibson, double play. Fine job by all three players. Mauer delivering a good throw, and Gibson not looking at the bag but finding it with his right foot. Will you find the rich heritage of Ojibwe and Mdewakanton Sioux Native Americans in colorful powwows. Powwows may be traditional or competitive. The ceremony begins in silence while a medicine man performs the pipe ceremony, a prayer for all people. Find endless ideas for the perfect getaway at exploreminnesota.com and share your favorites with #OnlyInMN. Jason Castro to lead off the Twins 4. Strike one.
Want to bet he walks?
6 walks already for Castro, 2 hits. He's had 9 plate appearances and he's reached 8 times. And some of the walks have come after the second strike. So we'll see what he does now with this 0-2 pitch. Probably forgot how to swing the bat. 1-2.
You know, you go back to that last play that Joe Mauer got that ground ball off the bat of Hosmer and then turned a double play. In spring training, the pitchers every day you work on PFP, pitchers fielding practice. You know, and you always say, you know, if I don't really concentrate on this, this could win or lose me a ball game. Gibson did a great job getting over there.
Short center, Kane coming in, and he puts it away, and Castro's retired. Let's find Marty Gellner.
We talked earlier about the defense that the Twins have gotten from their shortstop position this season. They have had 11 different starting shortstops over the last 13 years. The only repeats at the position, guys, have been Pedro Florimon in 13 and 14, Jason Bartlett in 05 and 07 with a season in between. So to have some consistency, to have someone solidify that shortstop position would be pretty big for the Twins this season.
Yeah, thank you, Marty.
Strike one to Jorge Polanco. Polanco's the latest. And you saw a list of the scroll, I guess, of the video scroll of all the different shortstops that Twins have had on opening day. This one to short right field, retreating is Mondesi, and he makes the catch, 2 down.
Well, you can almost look at this ball club other than maybe, you know, the right side of the infield. Everybody else kind of still establishing themselves. The outfielders, and then Sano at third. Got a new catcher behind the plate other than Mauer and Dozier. There's opportunity.
Yeah. Twins have brought in mid-season guys too, like Orlando Cabrera. And Castro. Why can't I think of his first name? Coach for the Dodgers now. Juan Castro. 1-0. And a strike at the knees. Rosario with an RBI and a ground ball. Hit a tailor-made double play grounder to Mondesi. But Mondesi fumbled it, and that allowed the Twins to get a second run on the second inning. 2-1.
Hamel trying to have a quick inning. He has had 1, 2, 3 inning. That's the first. 14 pitches, 30 in the second, 16 in the third.
3-1. We talked yesterday, I think, about Rosario's unwillingness to walk. Let's see if Hamel delivers one close enough to swing at here. And Rosario's just taking a walk. With 2 down, that'll bring Santana to the plate.
Second walk for Hamel. And we saw the high fastball being called, and the low fastball just a bit low, almost a pitch to Kane. But when he walked in the first inning.
In just under 800 at bats, Rosario has already now walked 28 times. And he's checked at first. Santana chipped a single into left field in the 2-run second inning. Inside a ball. Have drawn 18 walks already this year. The Rockies a couple behind them.
You know, we were talking about that before the ball game, Dick, and it's things. And yeah, you can draw a lot of walks, but it's mainly the Royals not even being close in the strike zone on some of these walks.
On a lot of the ball fours.
Right.
2-0. Rosario goes.
Oh, what a jump.
And there won't even be a throw. A pitch called a strike. Rosario steals second base. Third steal for the Twins this year.
Yeah, Brian Dozier stole a couple in yesterday's ball game. Rosario, and the Hamel didn't even look over there. Gets into scoring position with 2 outs.
Now, the way this series has gone, you almost expect now Santana to get a base hit here to score the run. It was a 2-out walk to Rosario. Now he takes an extra base. He's in scoring position. And the Royals have issued way too many walks, and they have been penalized for that with a lot of those walks scoring. Swing and a foul. 3-2 with Dozier on deck. Santana strikes out. Rosario left at second, and we head to the 5th with the Twins up 2-0. enjoying the sunshine on a cool spring day and enjoying a 2-0 Twins lead so far. Kyle Gibson's confidence should be soaring through a very good spring training and now 4 shutout innings in his first start of the year. He'll face Perez to start the 5th. Inside ball 1. Perez with the only really well hit ball against Gibson. It was a line out to left fielder Danny Santana. Santana made a nice play adjusting to the flight of the ball near the warning track. That one's gone. Yeah. Golfed out of here. A long home run for Perez into the second deck.
Yeah, no doubter right there. Ball, I think he wanted that fastball away, and the ball left in. And Perez, a line drive home run.
Just the 3rd Kansas City run of this series, 2 of them coming on solo home runs. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Well, take a look at Castro. Yeah, they wanted it in, but the ball not in far enough.
And now here's Brandon Moss. Breaking ball for a strike. Moss with a ground ball to Dozier, his first time up.
Home run measured at 403 feet.
And now 1-1. Moss brought in to provide production that the Royals got the last 2 years from Kendrys Morales. He's now with the Blue Jays. 1-2. And now with 2 strikes, Sano will shift to the right side of the infield. Twins have done this a number of times today with the ground ball pitcher on the mound. More important maybe to move infielders around into shifts. And Sano could have stayed right where he was. It's a strikeout for out number 1.
And strikeout number 5 for Gibson. So he gives up the home run. He comes back and gets the next guy on strikeout.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout, other restrictions apply. So visit MLB.TV for details. Here's Paulo Orlando. Struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Gibson starts him up and in. Low 2-0. He's trying to sweep the Royals, a team more than any other team that's really given them fits over the last 4 years. Twins have, in the last 4 years, not counting the 2 games this year, but they've been 23-53 against the Royals, a team that they owned for the better part of 2 decades.
Well, Gibson mixing in all his pitches. I think, you know, the good spring training he had, Dick, probably helped with that confidence, the new routine he's going through. There's a lot of positives that Kyle worked on during the winter to get that positive thought and that negativity off of his shoulders. And so far, so good in this ballgame.
You want to throw in a new catcher? Talking about the new Kyle Gibson, I think we just saw a 2-0 breaking ball that he got a swing and a miss on.
Yeah, but that's kind of the way Kyle pitches. I mean, he did the same thing with Suzuki, but it's almost looking at him saying, you know what, I can get this guy out. I think last year at times he was a little leery of that thought.
He's issued a walk to Orlando with 1 out. Second walk issued by Gibson.
You're going to have little innings like this that are hiccup innings. That's what I call them. And you have to try to work out of it. And these are the innings that, you know, the first 4 innings went very well for Kyle, and now you're in the 5th inning. Now you're having a little trouble. Give up the home run, got the strikeout, but then you walk Orlando, speedster at first base. See if you can get a ground ball off the bat of Escobar.
So you're saying the hiccup innings are okay, but it's the belching and vomiting innings you want to limit, right?
Yeah, a lot of vomits I had.
Bunted in the air, foul, and back to the screen.
There was Sano playing back. Escobar tried to lay one down. But Gibson, very good fielding pitcher. We saw that last inning when he was there covering the first base on a double play.
Sano about even with the bag right now at third base.
Did bring him in a little bit.
Driven to the left field corner. Santana chasing it, won't get there. It one hops the wall. Orlando to third. He's being waved around. The throw to second. He's not being waved around, and now he is. And a terrible throw by Dozier. Gibson had to make the catch near the Kansas City on deck circle. I thought Orlando was going to be sent. He stopped. Santana nearly got the runner at second. And then Orlando did get sent home by Mike Jerschley and scored the tying run.
Well, there's that speed right there of Orlando. The breaking ball left up. And Escobar, he hit this ball sharply. One hops the fence in left field. And Santana, he plays it right. I mean, right there, he trying to get the runner at second base. You can see being sent home is Orlando, and he scores on a wild throw.
You can see Mike Jerschley holding up Orlando until he saw Santana's throw go to second base. So the fact that it went to second base has cost the Twins a run, at least in the short term. Ball one. I think Santana's assumption was that Orlando was going to be waved home on the double, but that was not the case. Mondesi with the go-ahead run at second and only one out in the inning. Second time through the order, the Royals making better contact against Gibson.
I think the play, Dick, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I think Santana did exactly right. He's got a great arm. He's trying to get Escobar at second. I think Brian Dozier was surprised that Orlando took off. That's why the kind of weird throw that he made toward home. If he sets himself, plants, and makes a better throw, might have a chance at home.
There's a strike. Well, let's take a look at it again, and it's worth asking.
I mean, hit this ball so hard, okay? And that ball caroms off the wall, comes right back to Santana. He spins around, but you can see the speed of Orlando, how quick he was at third base. Now, Bryant's ready. You know, he's got to anticipate a couple things. Guy hopefully be out at second or ready to throw home.
But you can see the shortstop Polanco lined up as the cutoff man for a throw toward home plate.
Right.
And I don't, that just looked like a double once it one hopped the wall.
And I think what you saw too is you saw Santana look toward home and then throw to second. I mean, one thing these outfielders have, they all have good arms. They all have guys' arms that can throw out a guy like Escobar at second base. But the speed of Orlando, how quick he got from first to third, allowed the Royals to score the second inning.
Two down now, and Gordon the batter. Two strikeouts, one swinging, one looking against Gibson. Out in front, strike one. All right, so this has not been a hiccup of an inning. It's been a belch of an inning with 2 runs scored.
Well, you still got a 1-run lead, so you get this guy out right here. Excuse me, tied up 2-2. I thought we had 3 runs.
You're used to seeing 3-run innings, 3-run triples, and 3-run home runs, but no, it's 2-2.
Okay, then keep it at 2-2 then. Where's TC?
Grounded to right side. And that ends the inning.
There we go.
Royals
tied 2-2
with a couple of hits and a couple of runs in the 5th.
Circle. We have $100 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets for Larry here from Rosemount, who has a birthday sign for Bert Blyleven, and I would imagine a birthday wish. What would you like to say today to Bert on his birthday?
Happy 66th birthday, Bert. You deserve it.
And Larry, why am I holding a piece of your sign right here?
It ripped in the wind when I was trying to hold it up for Bert.
So you're powering through here. I mean, you're not going to let the elements take you out today.
We're not. We are not. It's a great game. What a beautiful game for baseball. Happy birthday, Bert. I'm with my son, Tyler, and we're having a great time.
Bert, how about that? I mean, the effort. Rip sign and all, and he's powered through.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. You are here by Circle.
Just the latest example of how impactful wind has been in your life.
More ways than one.
Leadoff single for Dozier in the 5th. That'll bring up Max Kepler.
Yeah, see if the Twins can come back and pick up the 2 runs the Royals were able to get to tie the game. See if they can go ahead here.
Well, on Monday, when Moustakas hit the home run for the first run of the game, the Twins immediately answered in the bottom of the inning with a Sano home run. Kepler with a single to center his last time up. Maybe it's just part of the maturation of some of these young hitters, but you know, the Twins have gotten a lot of hits. And just think back, if you've watched every inning, how many of them have been to center field? You know, there haven't been many hits to the pull side. Sano's triple yesterday to the opposite field, but most of these hits are hit right up the middle. Dozier with a single to center. Kepler's hit was up the middle. Dozier takes off. Perez's throw, not in time. Dozier with his 3rd swipe. And I will venture to say this is the first time in a 3-game series the Twins have stolen 4 bases with Perez behind the plate.
Ned Yost is going to take a look at this, I think, as Escobar kind of pointed toward the bench. Did Dozier's hand come off? Now, it looks like he got his left hand on there safely.
It's on.
But did it pop off? Well, it looked like he's at the end of the bag and then the foot, so I think he's okay.
And no challenge.
Nope. So Dozier steals his 3rd base already this year.
And earlier Rosario stole one. 1-1 to Kepler. And a drive to right. Hit to right center field. Chased by Orlando. That ball is off the wall. Dozier held at second. He'll round 3rd and score anyway. And Kepler has put the Twins back in front with a double. Dozier hoping to advance in the event Orlando caught the ball, had to sprint once the ball hit the wall.
Yeah, high fastball right there, and Kepler gave it a ride. Orlando, he went back. This guy can cover some ground, but right there in the shadows, that ball just over his reach. And then it ricocheted towards center field, and that allowed Brian Dozier to scoot in from second base. So a double for Kepler drives in his 1st run of the year on his 2nd hit of the game.
And now Buxton, corner infielders up expecting a bunt. Buxton takes inside, ball 1. Buxton 0 for 2, a pop up and a ground ball. He reached on a fielder's choice. And the Royals expect Buxton to put it on the ground with a bunt here to at least get Kepler to 3rd base.
In this situation with Hosmer, the Gold Glove winner at 1st base, he's going to be charging in. You'd like to bunt it toward 3rd.
And Buxton swings away, fouls at 1-1. Yeah, I've always admired teams that have left-handed first baseman for reasons like that too. Hosmer is a Gold Glove winner, but if he picks it up, he's got a clean throw to 3rd base instead of having to pivot his body. Fouled away now, 1-2, and Hamill, aware that Buxton's been very strikeout prone in his career, and particularly in this first series, will try to get him here with nobody out. With 2 strikes, of course, now Hosmer and Moustakas retreat.
Every at-bat's a big at-bat, but right here, Byron Buxton just make contact somewhere.
To left center field, and Kane with a nice running catch. But with 2 strikes, at least Buxton put the ball in play, and fleet-footed Kane streaked in to take a hit away.
Well, it's fun to watch outfielders that have that type of agility and athleticism that Kane has and Buxton have, how they can cover so much ground. Good concentration. And picking up Kepler at second, keeping him there.
Here's Mauer. Strike on the outside corner.
Joe didn't like that call.
From up here, it looked like it was outside.
Yeah, he had a couple words with Rob Drake right there, questioning that where the corner is.
To center, hit hard, but again right at Kane. Second time that Mauer's hit a ball fairly well to the center fielder. 2 down, and that'll bring up Sano. Kepler still at second base. You can choose your games, choose your number of seats with the Flex Plan. Save money on tickets, food, beverage, and merchandise. The Flex Plan gives you the flexibility to choose when you decide to go, whether it's a month before the game or an hour before first pitch. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/flex.
So when a team's going good, guys pick up each other. You know, Buxton unable to advance Kepler. Mauer hit the ball sharply, and Sano's not going to have that opportunity. An intentional walk. And Sano drops his bat and trots to first.
Saving Castro, 4 pitches on the pitch meter. And now Castro will come up with 2 men aboard and 2 out. Travis Wood warming up in the Kansas City bullpen. Out in front, strike 1. Castro with a walk and a run scored in the second. And then a fly ball to center. Popped up behind third, chased by Moustakas and Gordon. And Gordon with a foul ball catch to end the inning. Couple of hits to start the inning. The Twins back in front, and you're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm.
Well, and right there, the RBI single by Polanco gave the Twins a 1-0 lead. Then they scored another run. Made it a 2-0 lead. Salvador Perez, a solo home run off of Kyle Gibson to start the 5th, and then an RBI double by Escobar scored Orlando, and the Twins come right back to make it 3-2, like I mentioned before.
How many
Twins
times?
up 3-2.
How many times over really the last 6 years have we commented about on the other side of it? Twins score a run, and it's so important for the pitcher to put up a 0, and the Royals have done a lot of things wrong, including that. You know, talk about Moustakas hitting the home run, and boom, right away Sano ties it up, and here the Royals tie it up in their half of the 5th, but the Twins get one back. Here's Mike Moustakas to lead off the 6th. 1-1. Moustakas, Kane, and Hosmer. Gibson's pitch count pretty good at just 75. One thing he's done a better job of than Hector Santiago yesterday, and that is delivering first pitch strikes. This one driven to the right field corner and deep, and the Royals come right back to tie it up. Moustakas' second home run of the series, and it's 3-3.
They got ahead with a fastball, then a changeup, and I believe this was another changeup that Moustakas stayed back and get it into the seats over the right field wall. Another off-speed pitch, a changeup. So back-to-back changeups, but Hosmer went down and hit that ball sharply.
Lorenzo Cain, a tie game. Strike 1. Royals held to just 1 run on Monday, 1 run on Wednesday, and now 3 runs in their last 7 at bats. Checked his swing. Nope. 1-1. Cain reached on a walk in the first inning, reached in a fielder's choice in the 4th. Fastball and a called strike. Inside 2-2.
See, Jason Castro, see where he's setting up right there. He hit the glove, but what I like where he centers that glove right in the middle of his chest.
Dribbled up the line. Gibson picks. No, he can't. And he's upset at himself because he's very good fielding little dribblers like that. He tried to barehand it, but didn't pick it up.
I think he knew who was running too. Cain, very quick of foot. Right off the end of the bat, kind of a swinging bunt. Gibson getting over there, has to barehand it, the only chance you have. And then you can see, not getting the grip of the baseball, finally does, and then knows, darn it.
As was the case yesterday. Hector Santiago gave the Twins 5th, taken out without getting an out in the 6th. nobody out. Time now for our State Farm combination. Bullpen has been awfully good through the first 2 games.
Well, Santana went 7 in his opening day start, and then 5 innings out of Hector Santiago yesterday, and the bullpen has been outstanding. Only 1 hit allowed, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk in the first 2 ball games. So hopefully that will continue, and it'll be Craig Breslow making his first appearance this year. And his second time he's been with the Minnesota Twins, but a different type pitcher now. More of a sidearm left-hander. Breslow with the Twins in 2008 and 2009. Parts of 2008, parts of 2009. Signed a minor league contract, made the 40-man roster.
Hosmer, the batter. 2 of the first 3 batters, 2 of the 3 next batters are left-handers, including Hosmer. And quite a contrast. Here we've made a big deal about Gibson, who's trying to keep his arm up in his delivery, and Breslow intentionally is dropping his down.
Well, you know what, you have Kane at first base, and what Breslow does a good job of is he'll come to that high leg kick, but he'll pause for a second. And then that time he threw over. I would imagine he's probably a tough guy to try to steal against. It's almost a guessing game for a potential base stealer against a left-hander like Breslow.
Inside, nearly hit him.
Yeah, with that sidearm delivery, I saw him in spring training. It's basically the 4-seam fastball away. He'll throw the sinker, also the 2-seamer, and then that becomes more of a sweeping curveball or breaking ball over if he was more on top. Also mixes in a changeup.
Driven hard to center field. Gets to Buxton very quickly. Kane will only gain second base. Breslow fell behind the cleanup hitter for the Royals, and he tattooed one.
Take a look at the delivery right here. It used to be more 3/4. Now he's dropped down a little bit. That ball, when you fall behind and you're not an overpowering pitcher, you have to come in with a strike. And Hosmer hit it sharply up the middle.
And now Perez, who homered to start the scoring for the Royals. They've been pretty much dormant, the lineup had, in terms of hits and run production, until Perez's leadoff home run in the 5th. Since then, in the last 6 plate appearances, they have 5 hits and 1 walk. And Perez takes a strike.
Need a ground ball right here.
One strike to Perez.
That's where Breslow has to rely on that sinker down and away. Inside.
The Royals have enjoyed playing the Twins home and road. No one's enjoyed hitting here more than Salvador Perez. 11 home runs hit here, counting the one in his last at bat. High pop up short left field. Polanco out, Santana coming in. And that's the first out, and a big one, with Moss coming up next. Moss 0 for 2 today, hitless on the year.
Last year with the St. Louis Cardinals hit 28 home runs. He's got some pop.
Moss today with a ground ball and a strikeout. Breslow will take either one of those here. Gibson won't pick up his first win today now that the game is tied.
Yeah, Kane at second base, still his responsibility. Good to show that move from time to time. The old spin around, especially with a guy like Kane at second base. Want to keep him close. Polanco, the shortstop, right behind him.
And now Breslow falling behind this left-handed batter. That was part of the problem with Hosmer. He fell behind 2-0, grooved one, and Hosmer crushed it. And Presley might come in after the Moss at bat. With right-handed batters, Orlando and Escobar due up next. 2-0. Fouled away. Breslow picked off waivers back in 2008 from the Indians. And he really pitched well for the Twins. 42 games, 24 hits, and 38 2/3 innings. And then he struggled at the start of 2009. The Twins tried to sneak him through waivers, and Oakland picked him off. Breslow having a hard time throwing strikes. Nine pitches, just 4 strikes. His first appearance of the year. And he missed, and they're loaded up. Breslow is going to hand off, one would think, a really awful situation for Ryan Presley. Here comes Paul Molitor. Breslow faces 3 men. He gets the right-handed batter, but retires neither Hosmer nor Moss.
Fell behind in the count. The two-seamer ran in on Moss.
And Ryan Presley will come in with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Season, you know, I want to get to the postseason. I want to win a ring. You know, I'm tired of, you know, having my season cut off at the end of September. You know, for me personally, that's my main goal, is to win a ring. So hopefully we can do it with this team and, you know, all the guys on here.
That's a great attitude to have right there. Ryan Presley making his second appearance now. He did work in yesterday's ball game, and hopefully he can come in and do exactly what he did in the 8th inning yesterday. He struck out the 2 batters he faced, Moustakas and Kane, the only 2 batters he faced.
Breslow had a disappointing Twins reunion with a single and a walk and a difficulty in throwing strikes. Now Orlando is the batter. The Twins have Mauer playing in front of the bag at first. Sano a step or so behind the bag. They're hoping to get a ground ball here. Presley is one of his big weapons, of course, is that breaking ball in the dirt. We'll see how many of those he throws here in his hopes of striking out Paulo Orlando.
Well, we saw the fastball yesterday, 96, 97, at a 94-mile-an-hour pitch.
Something woke the Royals up. 2 runs in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and the bases full with 1 out. Presley attacking Paulo Orlando, 1-0. Fouled back. Orlando was waiting for that fastball and fouled it straight back. Presley, I think, has already gained the reputation as being the type of guy you'd want to jump on that first hittable fastball you see, even though it's got good zip on it, because once he gets into that curveball situation, it's hard to hang with that pitch.
Well, that fastball, you know, right there, what, 95, 96, so he can get that fastball up there. Not a lot of movement on the fastball. This is a big pitch right here.
Off the plate, backhanded by Castro.
Yeah, you'd rather be, you know, 1-2 rather than 2-1 when you're a fastball type pitcher. Then you can get it into that curveball situation. Now you don't want to fall 3-1, so you're going to rely maybe on that fastball again.
Two and 1 to Orlando. Driven deep to left, hooking foul. He came in with a fastball, and again Orlando was ready for it.
Orlando has struck out 3 times already this year in 8 at-bats. So Ryan Presley and the Twins would like to get right here.
See how aggressive Castro is here, and maybe calling for that curveball to get the strikeout and then having to block it. Fastball instead, line to center. Buxton charges, catches, and Kane did not get back to the bag in position to tag. I don't know that he was coming anyway, but as Buxton caught the ball above his head, Kane was still a step off the third base bag. 2 down.
Well, Ryan Presley went right after him. That being Orlando, he missed down low, came back with a fastball that had a good swing. Orlando did. Fell behind, 2-1. Fastball middle in. Came back with a fastball out over the plate, right off the end of the bat. Buxton did a good job of charging that ball.
2 down, bases full. Escobar at the plate. Popped up, backing out of play. Now that last pitch to Orlando was clocked at 90, so that might have been that little cut fastball or quick slider that Presley has thrown.
Well, one thing we talked about in spring training too is the shallow outfield that the Twins have had, and right there Buxton was playing very shallow to a guy that's got some power. Even Escobar, look how shallow the outfield is playing.
Grounder to short. Polanco flips to Dozier, and Presley, without a strikeout, gets a couple of big outs in the 6th to keep it 3-3. Target Field has become the top choice for families throughout Twins territory, celebrating all kinds of special occasions. You can schedule your special event in a fully catered Target Field suite available for groups of 16 to 150. No matter what you choose, food and beverages included with every purchase. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS to schedule your suite at Target Field. Bottom third of the Twins lineup, Polanco, Rosario, and Santana due up against Hamill.
Yeah, Jason Hamill out there to start the sixth inning at 90 pitches. So this might be his last inning.
Polanco with an RBI single and a pop up to second.
Some action in the bullpen of the Royals.
And now 2-0. Hamill's issued 3 walks, one of those intentional. Down the middle of the strike. Even across the board, 3 hits, 6 hits, no errors for both the Royals and the Twins. And 3-1 to Polanco.
Good take right there by Polanco. Got the Twins on the board with an RBI single in the second inning.
And a 5-pitch walk. And Hamill commits a terrible transgression after his team just tied it up. A leadoff walk.
And here comes Ned Yost.
Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by State Farm. Combine home and auto and see how much money you can save. Well, they put Hamill out there to start the inning, and he walked the 7th place hitter. And now will come out of the ballgame. Kansas City bullpen, which in years past has been so good, has been just dreadful so far this year. We'll see what happens today. Sweet. We'll see if the Twins can break through against the Kansas City bullpen. Look at the numbers of both hits and walks. And Wood, the next pitcher for the Royals, was guilty of a really rough outing on Monday.
Yeah, 2 former Cub pitchers so far here this afternoon for Ned Yost. It was Jason Hamill, now Travis Wood, who last year for the Cubs had an outstanding year, 77 relief appearances, very good earned run average. But here on Monday, we worked only a third of the inning, gave up a couple hits, a couple walks, 2 earned runs. Through 19 pitches, only 7 over the plate.
2 of the 3 bases loaded walks the Twins took on Monday were issued by Wood. He'll face Rosario. Moustakas charging at third. There's ball 1. And Wood took ownership of it after the game. He said it's just unacceptable. A veteran guy who's been around and came into a bases loaded situation and issued 2 bases loaded walks. And then Castro touched him for a 2-run single. 1-0. Rosario pulled the bat back, and it's 2-0. This is what we saw in that big inning on Monday. Rosario, and in the case of Kepler's at bat on Monday, waiting and getting a good pitch to bunt. And maybe now with the count 2-0, the bunt would be called off. Yeah, Rosario showed no signs of bunting, and Wood can't throw strikes today either.
Well, last year with the Cubs, 61 innings, 24 walks, 47 strikeouts.
Rosario laid down a sacrifice bunt against Wood. He backs out and takes a strike. Excuse me, that was earlier in the inning against Matt Strong when Rosario bunted. Stock is back even with the bag at third. I don't think they think the bunt's on anymore with a hitter's count to Rosario. Throw over maybe to see whether Rosario betrayed his intentions. Popped up near the Royals dugout, and Moustakas can't make the play. He got leather on it but couldn't squeeze it tight. And Rosario will have another swing.
Yeah, right off the tip of the glove.
Oh my.
It's a game of inches.
Play that might have been made years ago before they put the protective screens in front of the dugouts. Well, we think that's a really good idea to do that.
Yes, it is.
3-2 to Rosario. Polanco checked it first. Twins have stolen 4 times in 4 tries with Perez behind the plate.
Well, you can steal. You steal off the pitcher, not the guy behind the plate, believe me. Now, Wood has always been in the National League with the Cincinnati Reds and the Cubs the last 5 seasons. I'm sure their scouting reports what kind of move he has, how quick is he home toward home. See if Polanco takes off here.
He does not. The pitch lifted foul. Moustakas will look at this one and run out of room. Well, now Rosario has already walked once today. There's not a chance, is there, that he would walk twice in one game?
You want an answer? No. If it's close, he's going to be swinging.
I hate to imagine where the pitch would have to be for him to walk twice in one game.
He's going to have to land right on the grass, I think, in front of the pitcher's mound.
And he walks.
Well, see, that's why you come to the ballpark. You see things you've never seen before.
Wood, who came into the game and issued 2 bases-loaded walks to start his first Royals appearance, now walks Rosario, who early in the plate appearance simply wanted to bunt.
Perez wanting to get some information from the dugout.
Well,
we'll talk about Danny Santana right here. I'm sure Danny Santana is going to be asked to bunt here.
And if he succeeds, of course, he'll do what happened yesterday. He'll take the bat out of Dozier's hands, but still it changes everything. And if Santana is asked to bunt, as we expect he will be asked or has been asked to bunt, and if he gets it down, then the infield likely will come in for either the Dozier or Kepler at bats.
Scoring early.
And taking ball 1. You've said countless times, if they want to give you an out,
take it.
Get the out. And Wood didn't do that in the Rosario plate appearance.
On that play right there, Moustakas stayed back, so they're trying to get the lead runner, Polanco.
Wheel play and a little inside move by the pitcher, but Escobar, the shortstop, was sprinting toward third base. And a strike. I don't think Santana offered at it. I think the pitch was called a strike. 1-1.
Yeah, that play, I don't understand that wheel play with Escobar taking over the previous one right here. See if Santana looked like he kind of jabbed at it and then brought the bat back. But Rob Drake thought he went.
And now a pitch taken for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, go back to what Escobar took off. That's more the crash play where the third baseman, first baseman are crashing, and Escobar becomes basically, they're trying to get the guy on third on that play. Let's see if Santana tries to bunt with 2 strikes here.
Take it inside, 2-2. Talking with Paul last year about Santana, he says he's one of the guys that he would recommend bunting with 2 strikes, because so often the third strike comes right after the second strike. Santana struck out his last time up. Swinging a foul tip. There's strike 3, and Santana fails to advance the runners. That will get Dozier to the plate with 2 men aboard.
And Ned Yost is coming out to bring in a right-hander. Well, Wood just rearing back and challenging Santana. Threw the ball by him.
Twins didn't execute very well in the 5th inning. They got a single and a double to start the inning, but never moved Kepler from second base. Now they're trying to take advantage of back-to-back walks in the 6th.
Living up to the billing, putting up the stats.
Dozier with a diving catch behind the second base bag. Great stop by Dozier. What a double play. Wow. Drive to left field. That ball's gone. A home run. A 2-run walk-off home run for Brian Dozier.
Just like everyone expects.
He's grown to be a leader.
Smart about the game, go out, plays the game hard.
Good guy, good teammate.
He's always having a good time, and it's a lot of fun to be around.
There goes another one. Are you kidding me?
We know where Brian Dozier has been. One question remains. Where does he go from here?
And he stands in against Peter Moylan. Runners at first and second, one down. Moylan came in and struck out Byron Buxton here on Monday. Now he's got to face a more veteran hitter in Brian Dozier.
Yeah, the only batter that Moylan faced on Monday. Submarine side armor. Good movement on the fastball. Big sweeping breaking ball to get strike one.
And taken for a ball. Bases. Polanco. Rosario out there. Driven to left field. Gordon is there for the catch. A well-hit ball within range of the Gold Glove left fielder. 2 down.
That ball kind of hung up right there for Gordon. Brian put a good swing on it, but hit it sharply to the left fielder. After a couple sweeping breaking balls, we'll do a little pitch by pitch of the 3 pitches. A big sweeper for call strike one. Then he did it again, but this one outside. And with the fastball. And then you see the sink right there. Brian went down and hit it, but semi-sharply went at the Gold Glover in left field.
Now Kepler, who has hits in 3 of his last 4 at-bats, including an RBI double his last time up. Ball inside. Buxton, who struck out against Moylan here on Monday, is the on-deck hitter. Outside 2-0.
Moylan from Australia, 38 years old. Mentioned the other day, originally signed back in 1996 by the Twins and was released the next year.
Three 3-0. The Twins, who took 7 walks on Monday, 9 yesterday, have already taken 5 today, including 2 earlier this inning.
They're still going to be very careful here. Yep.
3rd walk of the inning, and now Buxton will have a chance for retribution. 0 for 3 today. He's at least put the ball in play all 3 times. Pop up, a fly ball, and a ground ball.
Guys that throw like Moylan are probably tough to hit against if you're a right-handed pitcher, because you saw the big sweeping breaking ball he has, and then like he did to Brian, he'll throw that 2-seamer down and in. So working both sides of the plate. So you almost have to tell yourself, you know, if he comes in, I'm going to take it, but I've got to look for that ball away and hopefully take it that way.
Swing and a miss. And a fastball. And now he'll probably get nothing but breaking ball.
A fastball that has a lot of sink to it from down there. Shades of Dan Quisenberry, the former Royal underarm pitcher.
Popped up, back, and out of play. Moylan struck out Buxton on 3 curveballs on Monday. Showed him the fastball, got strike 1, and now a breaking ball fouled back for strike 2. It seems like in all 3 games, every at bat for Buxton has started 0-2. Got him with a breaking ball. And there were 3 walks issued by the Royals in the 6th inning. But this time they got away with all 3 of them. the Grand Casino story of the game. Jorge Polanco with an RBI single in the second. Eddie Rosario hit what should have been a ground ball double play. The Royals only got 1 run, or 1 out. The Twins got another run. Then the Royals started hitting home runs. Perez with a home run in the 5th to get the scoring started for them. Moustakas hit one in the 6th. They added another run. Kepler put the Twins back in front 3-2. And then came the Moustakas home run. Each team left the bases full in the 6th inning. So now we head to the 7th. And Taylor Rogers will come in.
Yeah,
Taylor, for the Twins.
Yeah, he worked in yesterday's ball game. Taylor Rogers worked 2/3 of an inning. Threw 8 pitches, 5 for strikes.
And Raul Mondesi will lead things off. So no playing even with the bag at third base. Mondesi always a threat to bunt. And Rogers starts him outside, ball 1. Mondesi, Gordon, and Moustakas here in the 7th. An inning that has been owned by the Twins in this series. Driven to right, Mondesi starts the inning with a sharp single to the opposite field.
Well, you got the speedster Mondesi at first base.
Left fielder Alex Gordon.
6 hits in the last 14 at bats with a couple of walks. The Royals have been awakened here suddenly. Alex Gordon, the batter, 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a ground ball. Slow breaking ball, but it's left up high, ball 1. Gibson faced the minimum number of batters in the 4th, even though he gave up his first hit. And faced just 13 batters through 4 innings, but then the Royals started swinging the bats. Up high with a fastball. It's 2-0. Outside corner.
Yeah, Rogers last year, we showed you the numbers, only 16 walks in 61 1/3 innings. He picked up 64 strikeouts. So it's usually around the plate.
Peeled foul over the roof of the Royals dugout, 2-2. So far, a single and 10 at bats.
Rogers faced only 2 batters in yesterday's ball game. Mondesi struck him out, and then Gordon hit a ground ball to Mauer at first.
Keeping a close eye on Mondesi. Last year he stole 9 out of 10 tries. Two and 2 to Gordon. Breaking ball. Did he go? Here's the throw to second, and Mondesi has a steal. Gordon has struck out. So Mondesi on a delayed steal steals second, and on a check swing, Gordon strikes out.
I'll take a look right here. Mondesi kind of took a couple steps and took off the high throw. Allows Mondesi to steal a base, get into scoring position with 1 out.
And now Moustakas got the first Royals hit in the 4th. And clubbed his 2nd home run of the young season in the 6th. On the outside corner. Breaking ball for another called strike. Rogers fell behind Mondesi, gave up a base hit, struck out Gordon, now quickly ahead of Moustakas. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
Yeah, 2 curveballs right there. The first one's outer half of the plate for a strike. That one started at Mondesi and broke over the plate.
Got him on 3 breaking balls. 2 taken, and the only one that wasn't a strike he swung at. 2 down.
I mentioned yesterday with Taylor Rogers out there, he has 2 type of breaking balls. He's got the big breaking ball that got the first 2 strikes, and then he tightens up a little bit. You see the first 2, and then that one a little bit tighter than the 2 previous. So good tight rotation if he gets his 2nd strikeout.
Kane is intentionally walked, and this, you know, we've been talking about the automatic intentional walk rule and how we'll see it about once every 2 weeks. It's already had it happen 3 times in this series. First and second, and another left-handed batter, Hosmer. Hosmer with a single and 3 trips. A breaking ball, shaving the outside corner.
Real quick, you like the intentional walk 4 pitches?
It's fine. I
was listening to Harold Reynolds last night. I kind of agree with him. Sometimes when a pitcher is asked to throw intentional, 4 pitches, it gets him out of that groove a little bit. Now Rogers had just struck out, Moustakas on 3 curveballs. He's still in that good little groove. Hey, go take first. I'm in a pretty good groove going.
Fastball hacked foul.
So there's that part of saying, okay, 4, you'll save 30 seconds or a minute by running that Kane over to first, but also take that pitcher. He doesn't have to worry about throwing 4 pitches, maybe 1 over the catcher's head.
Rogers ahead of Hosmer 0-2. He's shown him the curve and the fastball. Good take.
He laid off of that one. It's almost the same pitch that Moustakas swung at for strike 3. Perez on deck.
Just got a piece of it, fouling it back to the screen.
Curveball stayed up a little bit.
Kind of see from that shot the infield again playing just a step or 2 shallower than normal. In the event Hosmer grounds a single to center, better chance for the Twins to throw out the go-ahead run at the plate. Another 1-2 to Hosmer. 2-2.
Not a bad pitch right there. Don't be leaning out trying to get that breaking ball.
Which is kind of what he did on that last pitch. He leaned across the plate and fouled it. Big pitch here. 2 outs, 2 on. 2-2 to Hosmer. And a sense, what Hosmer's dealing with is what Twins batters were dealing with when Moylan was up there. That breaking ball starts, at your shoulder or behind it, and then you got to try to hang in there and put a good swing on it.
Yeah, he's left a couple breaking balls up in this at-bat that Hosmer's fouled off. That was a good take on that first breaking ball when Taylor Rogers was ahead. The count.
We want the count to get to 3-2 here. Time called.
Oh, that's strike 3.
Rogers threw it over. Hosmer knew time had been called, or he might have swung at it.
You kind of show your hand right there, throwing the curveball 2-2 again. Now, do they go back to the fastball, or do they stay with the curveball?
Go, Taylor.
Fastball hacked toward hole, or the shortstop.
Nice play.
Great play by Polanco, and they got him.
Wow.
He got the fastball, and he got jammed, dribbling it toward Polanco. Made a fine play to end the inning. A scoreless inning, and now fans here at Target Field, get ready to cover your ears. To the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Twins have done so well in the 7th inning, both Monday and again yesterday, taking a lot of walks, getting a lot of big hits. So a dozen runs. I think right now they'd settle for just 1 run. Sano yesterday with a 3-run triple, and Escobar with a 3-run home run. The middle of the Twins lineup, Bauer, Sano, and Castro in the 7th. Hey, you did good. You did good.
Oh, thank you. I didn't want to sing the whole song. I don't have a good voice, but it was fun. And they sang happy birthday to me, too. I appreciate that.
Mike Minor will be the next Royal pitcher.
Mike Minor's in his 3rd game already. On Monday, he worked 1 shutout inning. He worked the 8th inning, and then in last night's or yesterday's ball game, 1 shutout inning. He's got a chance to be in 162 games.
Bauer 0 for 3. Pitch is up. Big part of the Twins' 7th inning explosions have been walks. They've taken 22 walks, and we got a few innings left in the 3rd game. Strike on the outside corner.
Minor really missed all of last year, recovering some shoulder surgery he had in 2015. Made some appearances in the minor leagues for the Royals in their system.
And Now 2-1.
He's got a report on Minor. Fastball, slider, good curveball, and a changeup.
Miners issued 1 walk so far. Sano on deck. 2-1 to Mauer. Half swing with a strike. You don't see Joe do that very often. Check swings. It's been a regular occurrence in Sano's at bats, but Joe very rarely check swings for a strike. 2-2. And now 3-2. Trying to flip the ball over the big screen behind home plate.
A little higher than he thought.
Full count to Mauer. Driven to left. This has got some carry to the corner. Gordon makes the catch, and a fair ball catch. That ball had a chance of maybe getting to the wall, but the wind's blowing it maybe even a little harder than was yesterday, but I don't think that ball got up as high as Sano's did yesterday.
Yeah, maybe a little off the end of the bat. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
And now Sano. Single, a fly ball, and an intentional walk. Oh.
And a little cutter right there just got in on Sano. Good swing.
One strike. Driven to center. Another base hit up the middle. And Sano's aboard. That'll bring up Castro.
Well, good to see the big man right there. You know, of course, the home runs are going to come throughout the summer, but what he did right there, didn't try to pull the ball, drove it right back up the middle, picks up his second hit. So he's been on base 3 times here this afternoon. So where the pitch is, outer half of the plate. Taking it right back up the middle.
Castro with a walk and 2 flyouts, 1 in fair territory, 1 in foul territory. And he got a pitch up and fouled it straight back. Driven to the gap in right center field and nobody home. Sano round second, on his way to third. He will score, and Castro puts the Twins in front with an RBI double. Everything hit here in the 7th inning's been hit pretty hard, including Castro's RBI double.
Well, Minor left a pitch up right there, and with the shift on, Kane was shading him a little bit toward left center. Big gap out in right center. That breaking ball stayed right there. And a good swing by Castro, splitting the outfield. And Sano, round second, picks up Gene Glenn right there, and scores right now the go-ahead run. So Castro picking up an RBI, his 3rd of the season.
Polanco with an RBI single and a walk. And a pop-up. Grounded. Pass Moustakas off his glove into the corner. Castro will score. Polanco to second with an RBI double. And the 7th inning carnage continues for the Kansas City bullpen.
And that confidence factor in the 7th inning for the Twins in the first 3 games have been incredible. Polanco, ball down, right down that line. Moustakas right off the tip of his glove. He needs a longer glove. Remember that foul ball is off the tip of his glove.
Yeah,
that one off the tip of his glove. And just like that, the Twins take a 5-3 lead. Polanco picking up his 2nd RBI of the ball game.
Now Rosario, an RBI ground out, and most unlikely occurrence of the day, 2 walks.
Hey, let's have some professional at-bats here now, huh? Add it on.
Foul back. Oh, Polanco, a really nice play to end the top of this inning, and then he comes up and jumps on the first pitch and doubles the Twins' lead.
What made that play so nice was that Sano went over there and kind of blocked him out a little bit, but the focus that an infielder has to have in a situation like that, he fielded it properly and got rid of it quickly.
Pop foul, out of play, 2 strikes. Sorry, who figures to be a key guy for the Royals, has yet to get into a game. He may be brought in here after Rosario's at bat.
Rosario asking time, and Perez and Minor taking a little time to work on the sign they want, or Minor wants.
Two pitcher, looked like it was.
Tell you what, Rosario, one of those guys, you can throw it over his head, he's going to swing at it. And if you throw it away in the dirt, he could hit a line drive to left field. He's up there swinging.
Santana on deck. A better right-handed batter than left. And Rosario takes. Strikes out. Pitch off the plate. 2 down.
A good fastball away by Minor. After all those breaking balls, just a good fastball, just off the plate that Rosario swings through.
Santana will face Minor. Soria warmed up. One hopper to Moustakas. And that ends the inning. 3 straight hits, a couple of runs for the Twins in their favorite inning of the year.
America Studio Sports Update. Twins hit the road for the first time this season. Hope you'll join us Friday night when Paul Molitor takes his team to Chicago, the first of 3 games against the White Sox. Our coverage begins at 6:30 when Roy Smalley joins me on Twins Live. Then we'll take you to the Windy City.
And right here, the Twins are carrying a 5-3 lead into the 8th inning. And for the 3rd game in a row, Matt Belisle will get some outs. At least the Twins hope he will here in the late innings.
Yeah, the veteran asked to come in. Hopefully this is his role, the 7th or 8th inning. And last night or yesterday's ball game, Belisle came in, worked 2/3 of an inning, got a couple strikeouts through 18 pitches.
First pitch lifted high and deep to left. Santana to the corner. Foul. A long strike off the bat of Perez, who hit a ball hard to left in the 2nd, caught by Santana. Then he hit one into the 2nd deck for a home run and followed that with a fly out to left in the 6th.
Well, it looks like the Twins, because Perez standing right on top of the plate, they're trying to pitch him in, but they're not getting it in far enough. Now Castro's sitting away.
And it's rolled through the hole on the right side. And Perez with just a quick glance into the Twins dugout. See, I can do that too. Just stuck the bat out and rolled it against the shift. And a leadoff single for Perez in the 8th.
Well, slider away, and Perez just reaching out, and with that shift, you're right, nobody there at second base. Second hit for Perez.
Now Brandon Moss at the plate representing the tying run. Moss, a ground out, strikeout, and walk. Missing inside. Through 11 pitches Monday. Everybody had Tuesday off, 18 yesterday. We're trying to have a quick 8th inning here. Swing and a miss, and that fastball quick enough to get by Moss. Hook to the right field corner, but foul. 1-2.
Yeah, in yesterday's ball game, Matt Belisle appeared in his 600th major league game. He's pitched for the Reds, the Rockies, the Cardinals, last year with the Nationals. First go around in the American League.
There are conservative leads for runners, and then there's the conservative lead Salvador Perez has at first.
He has a pitcher's lead.
He is not going to get picked off.
And he knows he's not going to steal a base.
Foul back. Royals got one, the tying run in the 6th, but left the bases full. Leadoff single and a stolen base to start the 7th inning, but didn't score. Castro catches ball 3. Royals have come back twice already on the Twins to tie the game at 2, then again at 3. Got him. And Belisle, who has gotten 3 strikeouts in his first 2 games, registering a total of 5 outs. That's a big one here.
You know, Moss, new to the organization, wants to do something good, so you play against his aggressiveness, and you can see the different pitches. to get the count to 3-2, and then he went with the breaking ball down, maybe ball 4, but Moss, wanting to be aggressive, swung through it and struck out.
Right-handed hitting Paulo Orlando. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Base hit right field with Orlando going to the opposite field. So both right-handed batters getting ground ball singles to the right side. First and second, one away. That'll bring up Escobar.
Yeah, hits are even at 9 apiece. Ball down, and Orlando just taking it between first and second into right field. Picks up his first hit.
Mondesi's leadoff single in the 7th was the same thing. Right-handed batter pushing the ball on the ground into right field. And now Escobar. Ball 1. It's turned a double play to end the 4th inning. 3-6-1. For another one here to get off the field on the top of the 8th. One and one.
You know, you throw all those breaking balls, the splitter that he has that he came up with, and then that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, 91, looks like it's about 95. Escobar swinging through it.
To Byron Buxton. 2 down.
A little cutter slider right there, and Escobar the second out.
And that'll bring up Mondesi, who will now hit as a left-handed batter.
Second baseman Raul Mondesi.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Ned Yost has 4 moves off the bench, all right-handed hitters.
Gore would be used as a pinch runner. Backup catcher Drew Butera, Chesler Cuthbert, and Christian Colon. Back 1 strike.
Even with 2 outs, Sano playing about even with that bag at third. You still take the bunt away from this guy. Again, I think every at bat he's shown at least that, you know, he'll try to bunt.
One strike to Mondesi on the outside corner. Mondesi last year 135 at bats, but he hit only 185.
You saw the way that Castro caught that ball. That's the framing they're talking about.
That kicks away from Castro, and now the tying run moves into scoring position. A wild pitch will be charged to Belisle, and how big a wild pitch it is remains to be seen.
Breaking ball right here just lands in front. You can see in front of the plate and then got through the wickets for Castro.
One and two to the Royals second baseman. pitches a scoreless 8th inning.
To the bottom of the 8th inning here at Target Field, and after the final out, we will bring you our post-game show, Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, and we will look at a productive 7th inning for the Twins for the 3rd game in this series. Today, the Twins got the go-ahead run and an insurance run in the 7th, and we'll look at the relievers and how resilient they've been today. Craig Breslow, Ryan Presley, Taylor Rogers, and most recently, Matt Belisle, just there in the top of the 8th inning. That is all coming up right after the final out. Stick and Bert.
All right, thank you, Marty. And it'll be veteran Joaquin Soria coming out of the Kansas City bullpen to pitch to the Twins in the 8th.
Yeah, Soria, those are his numbers from last year. Making his first appearance this year, 66 2/3 innings, 68 strikeouts, only 27 walks. What kind of pitches does he throw? He throws the kitchen sink at you. He's got everything. There's the cut fastball right there. He'll throw a big slow curveball. Changes speed so well.
Strike call 1-1. Given the uncertainty, is that a good word, about the Kansas City bullpen? He may be relying even more heavily on this veteran to bounce back and have a better year than he had last year than they're willing to admit. 2-1. Matt Strahm looks like he's going to be a really good relief pitcher for a long time, but he hasn't done it 3 years in a row yet. And some of these other new relief pitchers that the Royals have gotten off to poor starts. Foul, 2-2.
So I just showed Belisle and Castro talking about the different pitches and different hitters they faced.
Two and 2 to Brian Dozier. And now a full count. Kepler on deck. That's a foul ball.
And Sawyer, 32 years old now. He once was the closer when he first came up with the Royals back in 2007. He's had a couple Tommy John surgeries. One back in 2002, the other in 2011.
Reached back for a fastball and still got it up to 95 miles per hour and got it by Brian Dozier. UFC 210 prelims on FS1. Jiu-Jitsu prodigy Miles Jury makes his return to the octagon to face veteran Mike De La Torre. Plus 11th ranked Kamaru Usman clashes with Sean Strickland. UFC 210 prelim starting Saturday at 6 Central live on FS1.
Yeah, good read, good read.
You try reading that.
No way.
They had a phonetic spelling for everybody except Sean Strickland. They figured I could get that one on my own. 1-0 to Kepler. And a strike. Kepler didn't have a particularly good spring. And a bunt single Monday in his last at bat yesterday. A sharp single to center. And a couple of hits and a walk today. Driven to right, hit hard. Orlando back for the catch. Kepler stoned the ball for out number 2. That'll bring up Buxton.
Today's attendance, 16,078.
A little bit bigger than yesterday's crowd. Twins hope to obviously continue to play better baseball, but to have better crowds after this next road trip. And the folks in Twins territory, intelligent people by and large, they've moved out of the shade and into the sun. Hardly anybody sitting down the right field side where it's much cooler. Here's Buxton. 1 for 14 on the season. 1 strikeout today to add to the 6 in the first 2 games, and he takes ball 1. Breaking ball up high 2-0. It's just not a building block even. It's just a little mortar, but at least he's got a favorable count here. It's been 0-2, 1-2 it seems like in just about every one of Buxton's at bats.
And Perez sitting away.
Strike called on a borderline pitch, 2-1. Brandon Kintzler's warmed up. He's ready to come into a save situation unless the Twins score a couple here. Buxton with 4 takes and a 2-2 count. Anthony's 3-2. With Mauer on deck. And Buxton takes a walk. He took 6 pitches. Sometimes hitters talk about that. They're in a slump. They're not swinging well, and they are benefited by simply seeing a lot of pitches. That time he never swung the bat. Ends up at first.
The strikes were that one was off the plate a little bit, and the other one was like it was low. So really pitches that he probably would not have swung at anyway.
I would think this is a stealing situation for Buxton too. So we'll watch Mauer's at bat to be sure, but we'll be looking very closely at Buxton at first base with 2 down.
See how quick Soria is home too. Does he use that slide step? He does.
And delivers low, ball 1.
Very quick home. And Perez going out. I think making sure that he comes to a stop too. I thought that first
that was very
very close.
Extra time for Kintzler to not warm up but prepare himself for his possible first save opportunity. 1-0 to Mauer. Buxton chased back to the bat.
You know, watching Buxton take that lead at first base, a lot of guys will take that lead and step directly like towards second base, but Buxton will take a step out toward right field almost. He backs up a little bit, so if he does dive back, he's got that back of first base bag to dive into. The only reason I say that, Dick, is because when Kane was out, you know, trying to steal or get a good lead, you still kind of see his footprints. And Buxton's behind those. So base runners, base stealers, potential base stealers, you know, have different ways to get to second base. And he kind of steps back.
I'm surprised he's still at first base and hasn't tried for second base yet. Now 1-2 to Mauer. And Mauer strikes out. That ends the inning. Brandon Kintzler will pick up his first save of the year if he can pitch a clean top of the 9th inning, as the Twins are 3 outs away from sweeping the Royals.
There's no one coming after you in the 9th inning. The gates are closed. No one's coming in to save you. So it's all on you. Everyone's been grinding for 9 innings, and it's up to you to whether we're winners or losers, and whether I get the L or the S. So the pressure you got to embrace, but you can't make the situation bigger than what it really is. I mean, in reality, it's really just another inning. If you try to take it to another level, you kind of drive yourself crazy.
He was Plan C last year for the Twins when it came to being a closer. Of course, Plan A was Glenn Perkins. He got hurt. Plan B was Kevin Jepson. He didn't pitch well. The Twins, when they dealt Jepson, put Kintzler in. He did a good job.
Yeah, 17 saves. You can see in 20 save opportunities. So first opportunity here in Game 3 for a Twins guy to get a save.
Ball 1 to Alex Gordon. It'll be the top of the Kansas City batting order. Gordon, Moustakas, and Kane. High fly, right center field. Buxton with the catch, 1 away. And His first 17 major league saves last year in the second half of the year.
Oh, he did a great job, really did. You know what, you're put into that situation, and he responded very nicely. Guy that relies on keeping the ball down. A lot of movement off of his pitches.
And now Moustakas with one gone.
Sinking fastball, slider, and a changeup.
Strike at the knees. Second game in a row where the Twins essentially got just 5 innings out of their starter. They've relied on the bullpen to pitch well, and they have. Bullpen's yet to give up a run on the season. 1-1.
Slider missing down and in.
Kinsler, the 5th Twins reliever used today. In the dirt again, 3-1.
Walks have never been an issue for Kinsler throughout his career. He's always been excellent. Last year, 8 walks in 54 1/3 innings. Falls behind here. Has to come in with a hittable pitch for Moustakas, who's been swinging a good bat all series long.
Got a 2-run lead, though. That's to center, and it'll carry right to the glove of Buxton. 2 down. Pretty well hit ball for out number 2. Now for what's next, brought to you by Century Link. Derek Holland will start against Phil Hughes tomorrow night.
Yeah, Holland down of the Texas Ranger organization has had a history of some arm issues, so he'll be making his White Sox debut against the Twins. But first, let's sweep the Royals right here on my 66th birthday.
Kane takes a strike at the knees.
Somebody asked me earlier, what do you want for your birthday? I said, well, I want a Twins victory. That would be nice.
A man who has everything. It's a legitimate question.
Yep, I want a victory. So far, so good. Most of the crowd still staying here, most of them on their feet. Jump up and down, get some blood moving. It's chilly.
And now 1-2. Check swing, but he went. The Twins have started this season by playing very clean baseball, and they end up with a clean sweep of the Royals.
Well, again, good defense behind the pitching staff. 6 different pitchers used today. But again, it's a 7th inning that helped the Twins score 2 runs to take that 5-3 lead.
Tom Hanneman, a lot of things went right for the Twins. A lot of things went wrong for the Royals. The start to the season couldn't have gone any better if you're a Twins fan.
Agreed. The Twins walk away with a series sweep, and I do mean walk. Up next on Twins Live, presented by Century Link, we review that 7th inning. The Twins' resilient relievers. We'll hear from Paul Molitor and look ahead to the first road trip.